You want to stand out. You want to be great. You are significant. Welcome back to Candid Conversations with Charisa. I know it's been a minute, but we are back, and this season 6 is about to be lit. It's about to be hot, and it's about to be all about you, you, you. Why? I'm interested in watching the legacy that you want to build and that you want to leave, because you want to be transformed and you want to transform lives. So this season is going to be all about you, your self-development, your self-growth, and your self-leadership. Why? Because you get to change the world. You get to fulfill a purpose. And guess what? Here at Candid Conversations, I get to help you leave a mark in this world. For those of you that have been following me for some time, you've heard me say that I am a recovering perfectionist. Yes, I don't have it all together, but I was one of those persons who wanted everything perfect. I wouldn't move unless it was perfect, perfect timing, perfect place, perfect setting. If I didn't look perfect, perfect makeup, perfect dress, perfect shoe, perfect anything. There was a point in my life I also even wanted the perfect man. And then guess what? I grew up. And when I grew up, started experiencing other life challenges, other life activities, I started to realize that I was never reaching that perfect goal. There was never a perfect time. There was never the perfect makeup. There was never the perfect dress, and there sure ain't never the perfect man. However, I recognize and realize that it's not perfection that I desired and wanted. It is excellence that I wanted, and it's excellence that I should be striving for. So today, as we talk about excellence and its importance in your daily life and your success, I want to share with you the difference between excellence versus perfection. And I say that I am a recovering perfectionist because there are some times when I fall back into, oh, I don't want to make a move until it's perfect phase. But then I'm reminded that it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be all together and complete for me to make the right move or make a decision. So when we talk about the word excellence, I've started to embrace excellence. Excellence in my business, excellence in my marriage, excellence in this new role of being a mother, excellence in learning something new. I realized that I will never, ever meet perfection. Perfection is a destination, and excellence is a journey. It's an ongoing journey of me doing the same activities regularly and frequently so that I can master them, so that I can learn them. It's almost like a practice. You know, when you practice the pursuit of excellence, or you have a medical practice, or you have a dental practice, or you're practicing law, or you go to practice because you want to be the best football player or the best basketball player, or you want to just be best in sports. Or you practice your work because you want to be the best at work. Well, practice implies that you're going to do something over again, frequently, consistently, so that you can get better at it, so that you can learn the skill and develop the skill and master the skill. So in medicine, when it's called a practice, it's not that they are still trying to figure out if this works and let's practice on this patient. No, they're in a practice where they're doing the same things over and over again. They're learning new stuff as technology advances so that they can provide the best and most excellent service for their patient. So when you're looking at your success, when you're looking at what it is you're striving for in life, don't strive for perfection. Don't look for the perfect time to get married. Don't look for the perfect man or the perfect woman to get married. Don't look for the perfect place. Don't look for the perfect setting. Don't look for the perfect house. Why not get a house and then you put your excellence into that house and get a home? So when we talk about excellence, and I was doing some research on this, the definition of excellence that I found that I think was so apropos is excellence is the quality of being outstanding or extremely good. So that means excellence requires you or involves being good and being outstanding, but it's the adjective before it that makes it supreme. So we can all be good or we can be extremely good at what we do. I can be a good speaker, or I can decide to practice speaking more so that I can be an excellent, extraordinary, extremely good speaker. I can be outstanding in what I bring to you and what service I offer you, or I can make sure that I'm taking in and assessing what it is you tell me that you prefer, and I'm putting that into practice so that I can be an even more outstanding person or give you more outstanding service. That is excellence. Excellence is being distinct, great, and it's actually mastery. I love the word mastery. I love the idea of mastering something, mastering your leadership, mastering yourself, mastering your skill, mastering your talent. And I say mastering because ing means it's an ongoing continuation of what it is you've been doing or continuing process. And so there's never a I'm going to get somewhere and stop because I have arrived. Excellence allows you to get to a place where you've never arrived. There's always room for growth. Like we hear that cliche all the time. It's true. There's always room for an up-level growth in excellence. And if you want to be the best at what you can be and what you can do, you're always looking for how can I be excellent at what I did. And excellence is actually the comparison between what you are right now and what you can be. Perfection forces you to want to be perfect and compare what you are compared to everybody else around you. Imagine if you can be the comparison to your yesterday's self versus who you are now compared to who you want to be. That is excellence. And if you want to be better than what you were last year, than what you were first of the month, beginning of the year, or what you just were yesterday, then you put in the work to improve and increase and practice whatever it is that you're doing so that you can be even more outstanding and extremely good at what you do tomorrow. Compare your present self to your past self, and then compare your future self to your present self. That is excellence. Perfection is going to say, I can't even do anything to compare until it's perfect. Perfection said it is a destination. Once you search and reach and strive for that perfection, then you have to do nothing else. Well, that destination is unachievable. Take it from me, I've tried. I'm almost years old and I have yet to become perfect in the things I've been trying to be perfect at. I've wasted a lot of time trying to do things perfect and trying to do things just have to be complete and has to be absolute and has to have all of the elements there. No, I've wasted so much time. And so when I finally went and got myself all together and tried to get over this idea of perfecting, and I put in excellence, I realized that making the mistakes were fine. Failure was okay. It was acceptable. Perfection wasn't allowing me to even do that. So when you think about excellence, excellence is how good you can be in spite of anyone else. Perfection is how perfect you can be with regards to everyone else. We know that one thing comparison does is it kills. It will kill your joy. Why compare yourself to someone else when you could be comparing yourself to you, when all of you was perfect at the time? Your old you was great at that time. Now you get to develop a new you as you learn and practice in your pursuit of excellence. I'll give you a very good example. Perfection for me would have never used these cards. Never. What? Me not memorizing something, not making sure that I have something in front of me to read so that you don't know that I'm reading the notes that I have here? That's perfection. And if I couldn't get it right, if I couldn't see, if I couldn't look behind this kid, I would have never. Excellence tells me that, you know what? This is okay. I'd rather be able to talk with you and encourage you and inspire you and motivate you in an excellent way by having my notes right here so I don't stumble, so I don't forget, because I'm years old now, so my mind is no longer, and my memory is no longer what it used to be. I get to do that with these cards, and I get to beautify them, and I get to have exactly what we're doing, candid conversations with Charisa. They're beautiful, and they're my notes. That's excellence. But perfection, you would have never, and that means if I couldn't have these, then I would never do this. But guess what? Excellence is saying, I get to do this, I get to have these, and I get to talk with you. And you get to learn from me. No one says I have to memorize. No one says I have to write it all down verbatim. What is said is, whatever I do, whatever I say, it needs to be excellent, it needs to be outstanding, and it needs to be extremely good. And if you think this is extremely good so far, put it in the comments. So as we talk more about excellence, what I enjoy about excellence that perfection did not do for me, excellence was a lot more forgiving. Excellence allowed for mistakes and faults. Perfection does not. Perfection actually does the very opposite. Perfection increases self-doubt. Perfection actually increased my fear. And so because I was afraid that I wouldn't have the right time, I wouldn't have the right outfit, I wouldn't have the right setting, then I wasn't making an action at all. I wasn't moving at all. I wasn't taking that step at all. And what I know is no action is not an option. Not moving forward is not an option. Excellence allows for imperfections. Imagine. The very opposite of perfection is what excellence makes normalized. And I think we need to normalize imperfections even more. And I'm so serious and passionate about normalizing the fact that we are all imperfect people that I called my leadership program that very thing, the Total Imperfect Leader. That is the name of my program intentionally, because us being imperfect people who are tarnished, who have blemishes, who have faults, who are wrong, who are imperfect, does not disqualify us from being a qualified leader, from being the perfect leader or the perfect person for the job. So not because you're short, not because you're black, not because you're white, not because you're tall, not because you're skinny, not because you're fat, not because you have one arm, not because you can't see, not because you can't sing, not because you're deaf, not because you're blind, not because you have short hair, not because you have long hair, all the different excuses, not because you don't have an education, not because you just went to 6th grade education, not because you're a single mother with a child, not because you're a father who's been incarcerated. Those are all imperfections. Somebody will say those are imperfections, and they will mark no on your application. They will tell you no on that job interview. They will decline you and deny you from your request and your desire. But there's someone so much greater that says, I qualified you already. And even though you are an imperfect being, if you are a perfect individual and a perfect person that I created for the job and the purpose that you were created for. Excellence allows for imperfections. Are you willing to embrace all of your faults and all of your imperfections just to be qualified for the job? Are you willing to say, yeah, I'm imperfect and that's okay. I'm still ready. Yes, I'm imperfect and that's okay. Let's say yes. Are you willing to say yes to you first in order to have someone else say yes to you for them? The other thing that excellence does is it increased your mastery and your skill. So whatever it is that you embrace, whatever it is you're passionate about, whatever it is that you want to give to the world, figure out how you can master that. And it can mean going to a seminar, it can mean finding the right connections and finding the right networks and finding the right community to foster the growth and the elevation that you want of that skill. So we talked about excellence. I want to talk about perfection just a little bit because I want you to understand. I know there's so many of us that we want things to be perfect. I can see the single woman right now sitting on her couch wishing and waiting that she was married, and she's not, because she hasn't found the perfect man that she's been looking for, or it's not the perfect time, or she's been engaged for 7 years and the reason why she's unmarried is because she can't find the perfect dress that costs $5,000 when her and her fiance are only making $700 a month. Why stop your life? Why hold up your dreams? Why lock down your purpose? And why lock down your happiness? All because you're looking for the perfect everything. Release yourself of that perfection and just want to be excellent. Be that woman who is perfectly fine with an excellent wedding, even if it's small. Who is perfectly fine with a wedding that has a beautiful dress, even if it wasn't her dream dress. Why? Because the marriage is so much more valuable than the wedding date itself. Life definitely is how you look at it. What is your perspective? Perfection, by definition, is having all that is required or having the desirable elements and qualities and characteristics. Imagine having to have all of something. And if all of something isn't in place, then you can't make a move, you can't decide, you can't do anything. You're afraid, if I fail, then they're going to look at me a certain way, so I don't want to fail. I need to have it all together. I was that person. I was waiting for it all to be. I needed to know that before I leave this job, before I start my own company, I need to be able to have security, need to be able to have this and this and this. So I never moved. Never moved. It wasn't until I decided I don't need to have perfect time. I don't need to have the perfect company. I don't need to have the perfect amount of capital, the perfect team. I just need to have an excellent service. I need to have an excellent mindset. So whatever I put out is excellent. And then everything else will grow. And sure enough, here I am with a company that's thriving because I finally decided that I don't want the destination. I'm going to embrace the process. And that's excellence. Perfect or perfection is absolute. It's being without fault. By definition, perfect is being without fault. Imagine someone saying, if you're not perfect or if you're not without fault, we can't have you. We don't want you. You're not good enough. Well, that disqualifies you. That disqualifies me. That disqualifies your neighbor. That disqualifies everyone from anything in this world if they're after somebody with no fault. When I say as individuals and as humans, we are full of flaws, we are full of faults, and we are full of imperfections. Only things that don't have a mind, that don't have a spirit, that don't have a soul can be as perfect as that. Excellence allows for change and flexibility. Perfection is very rigid. I cannot imagine going through life and not being able to embrace the change that's needed. That rigidness that's associated with perfection causes you to doubt yourself. When you doubt yourself, you either make no decision or you make the wrong decision. I'd rather you make the wrong decision than making no decision, because once you make the wrong decision, you get to evaluate, you get to assess, and then you get to re-evaluate, and you get to do it all over again. And when you do it over again, guess what you do? You do it a little more excellent. You do it a little more better. And then you do it a little more excellent. And then you reevaluate, you assess, and you do it again. And you tweak it again to get it more excellent, more outstanding, more good. And you keep doing that process until every time you put out something is a different level of excellence. So go after excellence. Become like me and decide today that you are going to no longer strive for perfection, but go after excellence. I am still a recovering perfectionist. Ask my team, they will tell you. But one of the most important principles that I have when we are on set, when we are doing any production, when we are doing anything, one of the F's that I give is we have to be flexible. We have to be excellent, but we get to be flexible. The schedule may not always work out the way we want it. What I want to talk about may not always be the way we want it. Some of the cameras and lighting, something may happen and it may not always be as we thought. But we get to be flexible and we get to make the changes, because by the time I put this out to you, it is going to be excellent regardless. So when you look at perfection and you look at excellence, let's do a recap. Perfection has high standards that you can never meet. Excellence, on the other hand, have high standards that are actually obtainable. I told you I've been wasting time trying to find the perfect time. I've been wasting time to try and find the perfect time and the perfect place and the perfect setting and the perfect dress for anything. When I'm now in excellent mode, everything is the right time and the right dress and the right setting for my goals that I want to achieve. Perfection avoids mistake and failures, while excellence embraces them. Mistakes are normal and mistakes are necessary. Failures are necessary when you want to be excellent, because the only way that you can fail, before you can fail at anything, you have to have tried. That means you have done the best thing you can do, take action. Once you've taken action, depending on what happens, if you fail, then you get to do it all over again and become more excellent. Perfection values outcome. Excellence values process. Embrace the process. And we talked about, perfection is very rigid. Excellence allows for flexibility and change. So if you're like me, don't feel bad. We are all recovering at something. We are all recovering something. I just happen to be a recovering perfectionist who is completely after being excellent at everything I do and everything I say. The value is so much more important than not having flaws, not making the decision, and not taking action. So again, another episode where I hope I inspired you, hope you've been motivated, and hope you've been thinking about how can I transform my next day and my next life decision by focusing on making sure that what I put out is excellent versus perfection. You may be an imperfect individual, but you are the perfect person for the job. Talk to you soon. Are you ready? After just listening to that, are you ready? I know you're ready. So if you want to now get up and go and start acting and putting forth what it is that you want the world to know and that you want to serve, now is the time and you are well equipped. Make sure you like, make sure you share, and make sure you comment below. I enjoy reading your comments. Go ahead and make your mark in the world, because you are great.